Hello. So today I want to talk about and kind of try to draw attention to some information that has come to my attention. First time I heard about this happening, it was a long time ago, and I didn't know what I could really do about it. So I had a friend who wanted to become a police officer, and he went through academy and started to go on ride-alongs with police officers. He had the stature, the demeanor, the everything that was desired by police officers. And so this certain police department that he was looking at getting hired into, yes, this is live, this police department that he was looking at getting hired into, some of the police officers were murdering people and hiding their bodies in a well about 20 to 25 miles away from this police department. So that made him not want to become a police officer anymore. So I then kind of tabled that thought for a while because I thought it was pretty disturbing that this police department would do this. And then recently, more people have been coming to me to tell me that they're afraid to speak out about where they believe that police departments are murdering people and either hiding their bodies or making it seem as though somebody else murdered them. So what I wanted to do was present this video as a way to, oh yeah, it is disturbing. But what I want to do is provide an outlet for people to anonymously come forward with any information that they have regarding police departments anywhere in America doing this. Or anywhere else for that matter, I suppose. You don't have to give details of where it is. You don't have to say who you are. You don't have to give me any information at all. But I would like to be able to maybe make your story known. Foxy says, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be scheduled or not. I just turn it on and say, let's do a live stream, and it does. But I want to give a way for people to come forward with any information that they would like to provide or feel comfortable providing, because I understand that you may not feel safe if you're aware of this. I know of one person who has a family member that was murdered by police because they were going to come forward with evidence that police were murdering people. So I think that this is a very dangerous thing. I think that this is one of the ramifications of having a group of people who believe that they have additional rights over people so that they can just become judge and executioner, and the way that my former acquaintance, I'll say, the way that they put it was that repeat offenders, like these were people that were just repeatedly offending, who would go to jail and then get let out, and they were, the police decided, we've had enough of this, they're not going to stop. They're a risk to for whatever reason, and then they would kill them and dump them in a well. So, yeah, I mean, that's ultimately the problem with believing that you have additional rights granted to you just because you wear a badge, you've gone through training, you basically are taught how to look down on the humans that you supposedly rule over. I'm just hearing more and more and seeing more and more that there are some real psychopaths in police departments, that the job itself draws psychopaths. You know, if you grow up and you're a child who wants to say you hurt animals and you want to hurt humans, then what better job than to become a police officer? And especially if you're silencing your victims, as we notice if we kind of look at the trends of things, police officers seem to be encouraged to kill their victims rather than allow them to live. You'll see that oftentimes if a police officer shoots somebody and they live, then a police officer may end up going to jail because there's a witness to testify against them. But if they murder the person, then that person can no longer testify against them. They can never share their side of the story, and what they were doing can be spun in any way. And that's one thing I've noticed, is that when a person is shot and murdered by a police officer, the presumption of innocence that person was supposed to, in life they would be presumed innocent, but since they're dead now, police just say, well, they did this crime and this crime and this crime. Well, there was still never a trial for those things that they allegedly did, and they're just using that as an excuse to have murdered them. So anyway, I would like, I think that I can add an email in this description. The big dude across the street from me growing up used to toss me around after his karate class to show me what he learned. He's a cop now. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is if you want to get away with hurting people, you can become a police officer and basically hurt as many people as you want and never get punished for it. And that's the problem. And that's why really we need to be taking away these police departments, I think, because they're not being held accountable. They all believe that they have additional rights. They're protecting each other. I believe that if we had more of a decentralized policing or law enforcement, of course, you could never police anyone except where they have agreed to follow those policies in the first place. But if you wanted to prevent crimes, then we shouldn't be looking at police officers to do that, because again, policing is something where you are enforcing policies and a lot of the police officers, again, they don't even have any factual evidence that those policies apply to anyone. So any police officer enforcing those policies is committing a crime, unless they have personal first-hand knowledge. Do you think mentioning this at city council meetings everywhere to let them know to stop? Nobody's going to believe you. I mean, unless you come out with evidence that police are doing this, and you're not too afraid to reveal it, then city council meetings are just going to laugh at you. They're going to think that they'll use the conspiracy theory label or some other form of gaslighting to make you think that, you know, oh, you're the only one who believes this. We all know that this isn't happening, and they'll try to laugh you out. But they're all just covering for each other. Nobody. That's not to say that. Okay, that's not to say that people at the city council meetings are actively covering. But I'm sure that a lot of them anyway, have the best intentions at heart. But it's too disturbing a thing to consider that a police officer would use his badge and his power, his perceived power, to actually commit crimes against people. It's too disturbing to think that a police department would cover up the fact that police officers are murdering other people. So it's not likely that you will receive any traction at a city council meeting, and ultimately I think that going to city council meetings and letting these issues be out there is a good idea, to at least get them out into the forefront of people's minds. But expecting anything to ever be done because you spoke about these things at a city council meeting is probably too hopeful for reality. But yeah, I wanted to give away so that people who Maybe have family members that have been killed by police where the evidence was covered up, and they think that the police did it, and tried to pin it on someone else, or just hid all of the evidence so that nobody knows who did it. Or if you are a police officer and you've seen this stuff happen, it's a deep subject. But if you're a police officer and you have seen this happen, or you are aware that this is happening in your department, but you're afraid to speak about it because obviously if you speak up about it, you will become a victim, then I would be interested in communicating with you in a way to where none of the details of what police department it is has to be revealed. Your identity does not have to be revealed. Just if you want to share general stories about this happening, then I think that it would be good to wake up the public. Again, how much transparency that you want to have is entirely up to you and your own feeling of safety. I happen to believe that if we just speak up and allow everyone to have all of the information and share it publicly and outwardly, that actually protects you. I think that if you harbor secrets, and if someone knows that you're harboring secrets and you're not telling other people, then it makes you a target to be eliminated so that the secret will die with you. But if you are transparent and open and just speak openly about what you've seen, then I think that you are actually much safer. Now, obviously, we have this cop watcher who got murdered by police. I can't remember his name. Maybe someone else in here does. But a cop watcher was being stalked by police because he was at the, what was it, the Fresno? I think it was the Fresno Police Department was scanning people's license plates while they were at the mall, and then pulling them over if they saw that they had like priors, or no insurance tickets or suspended licenses or whatever, and then they were claiming that they just happened to see them in traffic where they were actually just entrapping them. So a cop watcher who was trying to point this out was then stalked and murdered. I would say he was most likely murdered by police, even though technically the people who stabbed him to death may not have been police officers. I do know that he was being stalked by them. So anyway, it can be dangerous for your life to reveal this information, and I certainly understand that, and I don't want to put anyone in any sort of danger, but I would like to make the topic more transparent. I would like to reveal at least some stories, and whatever you're willing to share, you can email me, and I believe I can put my email address in the description of this video afterward. But it's eyesbeholdyoureyes@gmail.com. It's just all of that spelled out. So you can also email me at acuriousintellect@gmail.com. But anywhere that you want to provide this information to me or share it, just to make it known so that people can start to take this issue seriously, and maybe we can begin to investigate the police departments where this is happening, because I've heard of at least 3 police departments now where this is happening, and so that makes me believe that there are likely more. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Real Jingy says, cops can have a limitless purse to cover anything. They can pay for anything to happen on accident to anyone noticing them, and then the rest went, oh, there it is. To anyone noticing them for anything serious. Yeah, and that's the thing, is they have an evidence locker full of tools that they can plant on people. They have all of the DNA evidence of people that they have, taken that evidence and put it in their locker. And sometimes these things aren't guarded very well, or sometimes there are ways for this to be used. And I mean, we've seen we've seen cops plant drugs on people when they didn't find drugs. So they had to plant it, and where do they get that? From their evidence locker. So, you know, they have this vast array of resources to be able to do this. And what's disturbing, though, is that superiors in the police departments also cover for these people. So, and I know that there are, like, the police department that my friend wanted to join, I know that it was like a group of police officers. It was like a pack of them, and they were all in on this, and that's pretty disturbing when you think about it, and what people can get away with when, or what people are willing to get away with just because they can. So I would like to stop that from happening anymore, and start investigating police departments where this may be occurring. So if you have any evidence, if you have just a story, if you have anything to allow people to know that this is something that should be on the forefront of people's minds so that we can stop this from happening, then that would be great. And, you know, I'm sure that some police officers think they're doing something good because they're ridding the streets of maybe, you know, drug addicts or mentally ill people or prostitutes or whatever they think that these people are, but ultimately you can't just take human life without due process. You know, you have no right to murder someone just because you determine that they are a drain on society. You know, it has to be, I mean, you can't just murder people like that. So I think I've said all that I intended on saying here, so I'm going to cut out. See you guys later. Bye-bye.